Hello, hello, my friends. This is the second review of the day here on my channel. Earlier this morning, I did post a review on Yankee Candle's Balsam and Cedar Fireside, and in that video, I did mention that that was the first of 3 reviews that I would be putting up today. So in this video, we are going to be talking about the fragrance Believe. This is one of the fragrances that is in part of, or is part of the Polar Express collaboration with Yankee Candle. You guys know, if you caught my haul a couple of weeks ago, I did kind of a collective candle haul, and I told you guys that part of the reason why I got sucked into purchasing this collection is because my son Lane, who actually made a little bit of a cameo in that video, is a huge fan of the Polar Express. And so when he saw the Yankee coupon mailer on our countertop, he said, "Mom, you have to get these candles for your channel." You guys will know. I mean, he's my only boy. If you're a mama and you got a son, you know how it is, right? I just couldn't tell that boy no. Honestly, he could really care less about the candles, but he's just excited that they have the Polar Express on them. And so that was all I needed to go ahead and purchase, hit that purchase button. And quite frankly, I got a pretty good deal. But speaking of good deals, the reason why I am uploading 3 of these reviews in one day, that's not usually typical here on my channel, is because I am trying to give you guys all of the information that you may need when you are making determinations about what you may want to place orders for, with a lot of what I am going to anticipate are I'm anticipating that there's probably going to be a lot of sales kicking off here within the next couple of weeks. And yeah, it might just be helpful for you guys to get some feedback as to how these candles are performing. So let's go ahead and talk about Believe. Yankee Candle does categorize this as a sweet and spicy fragrance, in their fragrance descriptions. This one has fragrance notes listed as top notes of cardamom, peach, and orange. Mid notes, clove, ginger, sugar. Base note, amber, vanilla bean, and coconut cream. All right, you guys, so I'm going to tell you guys, I actually really like this fragrance. Is it anything earth-shattering? No. Is it slightly more conceptual for Yankee? Yes, I do believe that it is. Now, if you caught my candle chat video yesterday, I did mention that there are some aspects of this candle that remind me quite a bit of a candle that I just had in my collection a couple of months ago. Kringle Candle had in their Part 2 Halloween launch, they had a fragrance from their Boo Crew collection called Boo Hoo. It had these little owls with ghosts on, like ghost sheets over them. And this fragrance to me smells like maybe the less sophisticated little sister to that fragrance. They do have some similarities. So I will say that if you liked that Boo Hoo fragrance, you might be intrigued by this one. Now, there are some differences, but in terms of this kind of being, to me personally, this kind of falls into that kind of slightly spiced vanilla body care type of category. This to me has a little bit of perfuminess. To me, this is not like a straight up gourmand fragrance. And it is interesting that they're noting that like the main notes here are cardamom and ginger. Now I am actually, I have my fragrance notes here in front of me that I have kept from Kringle Candle, and I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison here. Let me look at what they say. Okay, so the Boo Hoo fragrance notes were top notes of rich cream, warm cinnamon, fresh peppercorn, mid notes of black cardamom, zesty ginger, smoky chestnut, base note of amberwood, tonka bean, and velvet musk. So here we go, you guys. I know that I'm not crazy. Now that I'm looking at the fragrance notes, I'm like, okay, what do we see some similarities there? They both have cardamom in there. They both have ginger in there. They both have amber listed. Kringle's version has tonka bean, which tonka bean can come off slightly vanilla in nature, whereas Yankee here is listing vanilla bean. Velvet musk is in the base note of Boo Hoo. I don't really know exactly what they would say for that, but I would imagine a coconut cream accord would give off kind of the same vibes. So again, they've got some similar notes here. Like I said, Believe has a mid note of clove. There's no clove mentioned in Boohoo. They're mentioning smoky chestnut. So that's where I'm saying, you guys, that I feel like they're in the same fragrance family. So if you liked Boohoo, I'm not sure if that one is sold out on the Kringle website or not. Last I knew that those fragrances were 50% off, around $17. And this 2-wick format at Yankee Candle actually retails for $34.99. So again, if you can get it 50% off, yeah, I don't know here, but here's some thoughts that I'm going to go ahead. I'll talk about the performance of it, but again, to me, if you caught my Boohoo review, this is very similar to it. Yeah, it's kind of just it's not a true gourmand type of fragrance to my nose. It kind of comes across as just slight body care. There's something that's a little bit perfumey to it, but there is a creaminess to it that I do appreciate. If you're worried about that ginger note, the ginger is not super zesty and zingy. It is just more, it kind of comes across as like, it blends nicely as a spice fragrance, like I said, with the clove, with the cardamom in here. It's soft. The spice notes in here, you guys, are very, very soft. Again, to my nose, I detect more kind of perfumey vanilla with some soft spices going on with it, but there is kind of a perfumey aspect to it. Now let's go ahead and talk about the performance of this candle, you guys, because unlike the balsam and cedar fireside fragrance, you can see the wicks on this candle are burning slower. I have had some wick issues with this one. Now, I do believe that that may have been of my own doing. The other day, I did have this candle burning for about 6 or 7 hours, which is way beyond the recommended time. And I did mention in the balsam and cedar fireside review that what I have found with this wax formula, this is not a 100% soy wax formula, which is truthfully what I've kind of become accustomed to burning these days. I would say 90% of my candle stash is 100% soy wax, which I am used to being able to burn for hours and hours and hours upon end without any kinds of issues. This wax formula is a soy paraffin blend, and I do find that it if you burn it for too long, it does start to alter the fragrance profile. But the other thing that I noticed with this candle in particular is that it did start to alter the color of the wax, and it did start to take on kind of that like smoky scent that happens when the wicks are burning a little bit too slowly. So these are not necessarily puny wicks, but they're not burning hot enough that you're getting a really deep wax pool here. So like even if you want to compare the last review that I did, like I said, that balsam and cedar fireside, I had a deeper wax pool going on than what I have going with this one. And that is also translating into the strength and throw of this candle. You guys, this fragrance to me is really very, very low strength and throw, unfortunately. To me, you guys, I feel like this one is a probably maybe about a 3 in terms of strength and throw. I do pop this into a hurricane in my daughter's room, which is the smallest, one of the smaller rooms in my house. And then it might be like a 4, 4.5. It really just does not want to project. Now, I will say at the beginning of this candle's life, it was closer to about a 5. So at the top end, this is a medium performer. But really to give like an overall assessment, my overall burn experience with this is that this is a more low, I would say, low medium-ish. Like I said, anywhere between a 3 and a 4 in terms of strength and throw. I do think that that is a byproduct of these really slow burning wicks combined with the overall fragrance profile here is not comprised of notes that are really going to smack you in the face and deliver hard-hitting fragrance. So here's my assessment, you guys. If you are maybe doing a like buy two, get two, or this goes on like a really fantastic sale. I know Yankee's really good about providing a lot of coupons and all that kind of stuff. You might want to try it. But I will also say if Boo-Hoo from Kringle happens to still be in stock, and again, last I checked, those candles were 50% off. If you are interested in this fragrance profile and you are purchasing from Kringle, I would say go ahead and throw Boo-Hoo into your cart over this one, because I did have slightly better performance with Boo-Hoo. Boo-Hoo was also light, but not this light. It had a little bit more strength, and I would say that it had slightly, I feel like they nailed the conceptual elements of this fragrance a little bit better. And again, you guys know that I'm always going to default to my preferred fragrance, or my preferred wax formula is 100% soy wax, which is what Kringle, that is what they use for their candles. But if you're somebody who doesn't like 100% soy wax, maybe you will like this fragrance. I would say if you're planning to purchase this one to burn it in an open concept, you are going to be sorely disappointed. This fragrance at the most is going to perform best in a hurricane in closed concept spaces. So it's a little bit of a shame because I do like the fragrance. I think what I am planning to do is I actually am probably going to set this fragrance aside. This is more of like a January scent to me personally. I'm going to set it aside and plan to possibly put this in a candle crock. I think that this would actually pair really nicely with Kringle's Howl at the Moon, which is kind of like a fragrance that is like, what is it? Seven Virtues Vanilla Woods. That's what that fragrance reminds me of. So I feel like I might want to enjoy this one more so in the months after the holidays. But kind of a womp womp here. I do like the fragrance. Again, not completely new to me, but a little bit more conceptual, I would say, for Yankees standards. But it does kind of seem like they took a little bit of a page out of Kringle's playbook on the fragrance profile altogether. Let me know in the comments section if you've purchased both. Would you guys say that the similarities are there? I would be curious to know. So please hit thumbs up if you found this review helpful. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new. I will have one more review up later today for you guys, another fragrance from the Polar Express collection. So stay tuned. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.